Hello everyone. So in this video I'm going to be explaining some of the protective factors against depression. And so I've already kind of wrote some out myself that I've come to know through personal experience and through my education so far as a first year PsyD or clinical psychologist student. So on the screen here, this is kind of what we're going to be going through in this video. I'll break it down into sections and I'll explain a little bit. If there's research, I'll explain that as well. And if you guys are interested in the research, let me know. I can do more kind of scientific or research article-based videos in the future. But this video is important because depression is now at an all-time high. Mental health crisis is at an all-time high. People are more suicidal than ever. I do want to make a video on suicidality and let you know that you're not alone if you do experience these things. But in this video, we're just going to be talking about how you can protect yourself from depression, from feeling depressed. And if you do feel depressed, these things might help you cope just a little bit better. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The first thing that I have down is actually healthy diet, and that is on this chart here. It's on the right side, it's the green apple. So proper nutrition can help with a lot of things. Recently I attended a talk where it talked about the microbiome gut-brain axis or connection, and this is something that I think is going to have a lot of research coming out over the next few years. And this is a video I might make something about entirely separate, because it's just very interesting how what you eat can affect your gut and can affect your mind and your brain. But basically, if you live in America, if you live in the western side of the world, there's a good chance you don't eat very healthy, because what we have access to is very cheap, affordable, bad food for you. So like fast food, I don't want to call any specific chains out, but fast food, it's just very easy to get anything that's cheap. Anything that's cheap in the United States is not going to be super healthy for you, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean that you can't also eat healthy for relatively inexpensively as well. But there's definitely research on this, and it'll just help you feel overall better. So having a well-rounded diet of fruits, vegetables, grains, whole grains, and meat like chicken or fish, and avoiding red meats that can be potentially harmful to your heart and other parts of your body. Next I have down is social support. So social support, I would say, is related to the social activities and emotional support here. So both of these things are important to consider, because emotional support or social support is a huge aspect. Humans are social beings or social creatures, and whenever humans isolate, things can get bad for your mental health. And so isolating and this thing called experiential avoidance is actually one of the worst things you can do for yourself if you are starting to feel depressed, or if you already are depressed. Avoiding yourself, even though that's kind of that feels like the easiest thing for you to do, that's actually going to be probably the worst thing that you could do for yourself, or one of the worst things. So if you can really find a friend or find a family member that you can talk to, or find something that you have an interest in for this social activities section. I would say emotional support is probably a little more important than the social activities, but they're both very important. If you even if you just go to school, or if you go to chess club or something just like that, or if you go to the gym, you see people and talk to people, that's social activities, I would say. This doesn't mean, like this does not mean go to social activities and use drugs. Like, this is also kind of like, this is like a double-edged sword. Like, yeah, you're going to a social activity, but at the same time you're also using drugs, which can potentially harm your mental health. So moving on, the next thing that I'm going to be talking about here, let's go to physical activity. I'm pretty passionate about this. Exercise is extremely protective. Research suggests against depression and anxiety both, but especially anxiety, because even though this video is not about anxiety, physical activity is still important for depression, but it can help with anxiety, especially because of the endorphins you release whenever you perform intensive exercise specifically. So even just walking, getting out, like I said, experiential avoidance, or just kind of staying inside can be bad. So if you can just go outside and walk, or just do something simple like sit outside for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something, that's more than you're doing. If that's more than you're doing now, that's going to help you in the long run. So I want to break down exercise into two categories, which are both very important. One is cardio, and the other is weightlifting. So these both have, in my opinion, in my experience, different benefits, and according to the research as well, they both have benefits. And if you only do one, you don't get the full range of benefits that you would get if you did both. So in my opinion, if you're going to just pick one, I would highly recommend cardio. Cardio, I think, at least to my knowledge, expends more endorphins than weightlifting. But in my opinion, weightlifting can also have some potent benefits like self-esteem boosting, make you feel like you're growing, make you feel like you're becoming stronger. It can also help with image issues you might have with yourself. And if you combine these two, you can become healthier and happier. So, if you want to look into the research, if you want a deeper dive into this, just let me know in the comments. I'll find some research articles and I'll kind of explain the methods, the results, and the findings of those studies, if you guys would like to see that. And so that's right here, physical activity. Next, unsurprisingly, is going to be adequate sleep. And now if you already are someone who's depressed or maybe anxious, a symptom of depression is not getting enough sleep. And this is where some of these other things can really tie together. For example, if you exercise, if you're doing cardio or weightlifting enough during a day and you eat well, you're going to be more likely to have adequate sleep. I understand that insomnia is a symptom of both depression and anxiety, or it can be anyway. So you might be like, well, I'm depressed and I can't get sleep even if I wanted to. So I understand that, but there are steps you can take to hopefully get a little bit more sleep, which will in turn help you with your cognitive function and your mind. Because there's a lot of loops you find yourself in. For example, one of them, like I said earlier, is the experiential avoidance. It's where you avoid activities that you maybe used to enjoy, and then you become more depressed, and then again you're more likely to just avoid things. Whereas if you were to break that loop and go out and walk, you might feel better and less likely to experientially avoid things. And that's the same thing here. If you're able to do 1 hour physical activity a day, or just not a day, but maybe 30 minutes is enough for you at the very beginning, you get more tired, so you sleep for a couple hours longer, so then you feel less depressed. And so you can kind of break these feedback loops, right, with some of these things. Next is religion. So I'm actually not religious, but I would actually like to be in the future because there are benefits. My program, we have not an emphasis on religion, but someone who has studied, a faculty member who has studied religion in the past and the benefits. So this also ties into the social support, emotional support. It feels like you have it seems like you might have a strong social connection or tie with the individuals in your religious community. And I'm not sure why. There is a much more significant benefit to religion than being spiritual. So spirituality does have benefits as well to your mental health, but religion seems to be vastly more important. So I would just recommend, even if you're agnostic or atheist, if you're very strict on that, I'm not telling you, I'm not trying to convert you or anything. Again, I'm not religious. I would consider myself spiritual. I would just recommend doing some research and see if there's anything that kind of aligns with how you feel, maybe that you're not aware of now. And if not, that's okay. This is just another point I wanted to bring up. Again, I'm not trying to convert anyone. Just something that research, again, says is valid and worth considering. So next is doing things that you love and a purpose or a long-term goal in life. So this could also tie into the skill development here, right? Doing things that you genuinely enjoy. And for me, I've been feeling a little down just a little bit recently. And so I wanted to put some of my passion back into YouTube because I have made plenty of videos on YouTube and a different channel in the past. And so I want to kind of, I feel like I want to share this valuable information that I'm learning with people that might direly need it right now in these challenging times for our mental health, especially in the Western world, because quite frankly, the mental health crisis is unprecedented and we're not handling it super well yet, but I do believe that there are a few things especially that will kind of crush this mental health crisis in favor of humanity, but I think that we're not there yet. And so this whole thing is to have a purpose, have a long-term goal, have short-term goals, focus on things you love. If you stop doing something that you used to love, ask yourself, why did you do that? And think how could you get yourself to slowly start doing those things again? If that's like playing sports or something as simple as just going on a walk with your dog, or I don't know, even playing video games, right? If you don't even play video games you used to anymore, just try playing or try doing something for like 5 or 10 minutes and see how it goes. Um, Having long-term purpose in life is huge in my opinion. For me, that's becoming a clinical psychologist and knowing that I'm gonna have a pretty big impact on people's lives, hopefully anyway. And I hope to do that through this channel as well throughout my time as a student for the next 4 years again. um, and last but not least, guys, if you're struggling moderately to severely, I would highly recommend seeking a mental health professional. I understand that a big problem might be like finances, but your mental health is the most valuable thing that you have next to your physical health, of course, and family and friends. But if you don't take care of your mind, then what do you have? So even if you don't have a lot of money, even if you don't think you can afford it, just look into it. Um, there's online help if there's not people in your area. I would recommend going to someone in person, but if there's no one near you for whatever reason, or there's super booked out, which is also another common problem and another reason why this mental health crisis is so tough right now, then look online. It's a nice backup. And look for people who you think would resonate with you, and go into it with an open mind. It's okay to have these problems. You're not alone. Most people have probably experienced some kind of moderate to severe mental health moment in their life, whether that's chronic or long term is not necessarily a different story, but everyone has an experience with what it's like to feel bad things in their mind. And it's okay to be vulnerable and to open up with someone to help you get the help you severely need, or you might severely need anyway. But hopefully, guys, this video is helpful. I really want to start making more videos. Please, if you could, just leave a comment, leave a like. Let me know if you like this kind of thing. Let me know if it helps you or if it resonates with you at all, so that I know that I'm headed in the right direction. But anyways, guys, and if you have any other recommendations for how I can do things better in the future, let me know. And you guys have a good day. Peace.